everyone. Thank you for joining our Mobile Design Sprint Workshop Activity Resources videos. My name is Emily Ferdinandi. I'm a mobile specialist here at Google and a certified Sprint Master. Today I'll be walking you through the understand phase of our Mobile Design Sprint Workshop. Before we get started with any Mobile Design Sprint workshops, we like to start with pre-work. As you may remember from the introduction, a Google Ventures Design Sprint is 5 days. So by condensing this down into 1 day, it's great to get some of the decisions made ahead of time. The purpose of the pre-work is to get everyone thinking about your sprint project and aligned on the project that you'll be working on. In order to do this, you're welcome to use our pre-work, and that you can find that at mobiledesignsprint.com and download it to use for your own team. It will help you walk through some questions in terms of what problems should you be focused on, what does your current user flow look like, who should you look to, or who would your team like to look to for inspiration, and any analytics or insights that you want to make sure you have available during the sprint. This should take about 30 minutes for your team to go through together, and we recommend doing that before you start the sprint. Once you get into your Google Design Sprint and you've gone through the introduction, we recommend spending about 10 to 30 minutes making sure that everyone is aligned on the sprint problem that you'll be tackling. As you can tell from the name, the design sprints that we run are mobile UX design sprints. So below are what we think makes a good problem to tackle. It focuses on improving your mobile site, so we don't focus on apps or desktop. It can be sketched or prototyped during the afternoon of the event. As you may remember from the agenda, you'll have about 2 hours for the prototyping section. So you want to make sure that the project that you choose is something that you can accomplish in that amount of time and isn't too easy or too difficult. Next, you want to pick something that can be tested 30 days post-sprint. The whole point of doing this design sprint is to move very quickly. So you want to focus on an idea that you'll be able to get into market and A/B test within about a month. Last but not least, we want clients to focus on improvements that will drive impact to conversion volume or conversion rate. So an example of a project might be improving mobile conversion rates by X%. It's important to set a goal so you know that you've attained it. For XYZ pages, be specific about which pages of the flow you want to focus on. To begin testing within X days of the design sprint. Here we think it's important to set a goal for ourselves so that you know what you've hit and keep that momentum going after the design sprint is over. 3 examples of the projects that we see most often. The first is removing friction from the lead form. That is often a huge issue for users from a customer perspective and a very big opportunity with a lot of low-hanging fruit for customers to improve. You can also focus on things like optimizing checkout flow and improving landing pages to get users started down the conversion funnel. Once you're aligned on your project, it's time to move into lightning talks. The purpose of the lightning talks are to just get ideas flowing so that folks can, brainstorm how they may improve and work on the problem that you've already identified. We spend about 60 minutes on lightning talks, and usually that means we can fit in about 4. For those of you that aren't familiar, a lightning talk is several 10 to 15 minute presentations delivered by different speakers in a single session. Some examples of lightning talk ideas that you might want to host are mobile site best practices. You can refer to the Hangout on Air video that we did covering a lot of those. The project vision and business goals, perhaps from the business owner. User research and user journeys so that everyone can be on the same page about what you already know about your user and the current experience. An existing product audit. The design evolution of how that has changed over time, a competitive overview of what others are doing in the similar space, and last but not least, technical opportunities or the technological frontier if you wanted to get more in the weeds on that. We'd suggest picking about 3 or 4 of these lightning talks or adding your own based on what you think will be most relevant for your growth. While you're doing the lightning talks, those listening will simultaneously be doing an activity called How Might Be. And the purpose of the How Might We activity is just a way to take notes during the lightning talks to make sure you're capturing all of the ideas that the lightning talks are generating. What you'll need for How Might We is at least 2 or more colored sticky notes and pens and markers for each person. What you'll do is, as you're listening to the lightning talk, you'll use one Post-it color to identify pain points and reframe as opportunities, starting with How Might We. So as someone is talking about the current experience audit, you might be realizing like, oh, that could be better. Oh, that doesn't seem great. So you want to frame that as how might we, for example, require users to type less if you realize that that is a pain point that you notice within the lightning talks. Simultaneously, you'll also have ideas of how you can fix these pain points. So on a different color Post-it, you'll want to write down any potential solutions that you may want to incorporate into your prototype. So for example, that could be use Chrome autofill, test the Maps API, make sure you have all the correct keypads. So at the end of the lightning talks, you should have a lot of different Post-its. Some will be one color and they'll have challenges framed as how might we do something. And the other color will be around solutions and ideas that you might want to incorporate into your prototype. After the lightning talks are finished and you have all of your How Might We Post-its completed, the next step is to do affinity mapping. For this, you'll have about 3 minutes per person. And the goal here is to identify common themes that you heard throughout the lightning talks. To do affinity mapping, each team member will take a turn reading all of their How Might We stickers and the different opportunities that they've come up with. As they describe their How Might We notes, they will place it on the whiteboard or the easel that you have set out. Each person will take 3 minutes to do that, and as you see themes emerge, you'll begin to group them into common categories. So at the end of the affinity mapping exercise, every person in your group should have shared their How Might We and opportunity sticky notes, put them on the board, and they should be grouped in some sort of themes. After that, it's time to narrow it down. So you'll have about 10 minutes to do the voting to narrow this down to your most impactful ideas. Each team should have a set of the circle sticky dots that will be used to represent a vote. You'll go through, each person will have a turn to put their 3 sticky dots onto the ideas that they think are going to be most important to incorporate into the prototype. You are allowed to vote on your own sticky notes, and it's also okay to put more than 1 dot on a note. So if someone has already put one on something you think is equally important, feel free to put your dot there as well. You should really vote on the sticky notes for ideas for opportunities, the ideas for optimizations, I should say, and not the categories themselves. At the end of this, you will be looking for which ideas have the most sticky dots on there to start narrowing down the themes that you'll want to pursue in your prototype. Please join us for our next video where we'll go through the sketch and design phase. Thanks.